Certain NFL teams were very busy on Tuesday. It was reported that two teams in the AFC East were both busy making the deals. Both the Jets and the Bills made moves for the same position on Tuesday, despite playing each other the previous night. It was reported by Adam Schefter of ESPN and later confirmed by Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network the Jets had traded for Davante Adams. It was reported that the Jets were sending the Raiders a Thompson-Torrey third-round pick for the All-Pro receiver. It was later announced that the pick for Adams can turn into a second-round pick if Adams does one of the following: if he makes it to a first or second team All-Pro or makes it to the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl this season. Adams has not played the last 3 weeks for the Raiders as he was dealing with a hamstring injury. However, according to Adams, his hamstring feels fine and is probable to make his debut for the Jets this Sunday versus the Steelers. They reported after the trade became official, the Jets will owe Adams the rest of his current deal. ESPN later reported that Adams restructured his contract to reduce his salary cap number to $3.21 million for the remainder of the season. According to Spot Track, Adams' previously cap had stood at $11.59 million with the Raiders. His restructured deal now has 2 voidable years. Both sides plan to discuss his future in New York in the offseason, according to reports. Aaron Rodgers was a huge fan of the trade. There had been rumors of the trade for quite some time, ever since Rodgers was traded to the Jets a year and a half ago, and when the Raiders released Derek Carr the same year. While Rodgers made his weekly appearance on the Pat McAfee show on Tuesday, Davante Adams made a small appearance on the show as well.
What's that? Well! Hey, good to see you, Tay. Good to see you, man. Congrats.
What's up, fellas? Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Adams was already at the Jets facility and was feeling great. It was later reported that the trade went down right after the Jets fell to the Bills on Monday night. During this season, Adams has played in 3 games and has caught 18 passes for 209 yards and 1 score. It was pretty apparent that Adams was getting frustrated with the Raiders after last season, at which they missed the playoffs again and started 3 different quarterbacks. It got even more spicy when head coach Antonio Pierce said that many players made business decisions during their loss to the Panthers a few weeks ago. It was then later reported that the Raiders were shopping Adams, even though GM Tom Telesco shut that down. However, Pierce had then liked to post on social media about Adams being traded before the deadline. During Adams' time with the Raiders, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and 23 scores. However, after Carr was released by the Raiders, Adams' stats dropped a bit since he had to deal with multiple quarterbacks such as Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, Brian Hoyer, and Gardner Minshew. During Adams' time with Rodgers in Green Bay, they were one of the best duos in NFL history. The Fresno product had 622 receptions for 7,509 yards and scored 69 touchdowns in 108 games played together. Adams was drafted by the Packers in the second round in 2014 and played in Green Bay until he was traded to Vegas in 2022. After he was dealt to the Raiders, he was awarded a 5-year, $140 million contract with $65 million in guaranteed money. Before the trade, he was owed $17.5 million this season, with $13.5 million still owed. But the kick was his salary jumped to $36.25 million for both 2025 and 2026. Before he was traded, the team that landed Adams, which was the Jets, needed to have him restructure his contract, in which he did. The Raiders ranked 27th in the NFL on offense right now, and at 2-4 don't even appear close to winning. The Raiders decided that it didn't make any sense to keep the 31-year-old receiver, who is better suited to help a team that's ready to win now, such as the Jets. With the trade, the Jets receiver room looks like this: Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Mike Williams, Xavier Gipson, Irvin Charles, and rookie Malachi Corley. After the Jets made the move for Davante Adams, the Bills decided to one-up their arch-rival by trading wide receiver Amari Cooper. According to reports, the Bills are sending the Browns a 2025 third-round pick, along with a 7th-round pick in 2026. The Bills will receive Cooper along with the 6th-round pick in 2025 as well. Cooper had been struggling this season as he was currently leading the NFL in drop passes for the first time in his career. However, now that he is no longer with the struggling Browns, who were 1-5, a change of scenery might be what the doctor ordered for Cooper. Cooper is a 5-time Pro Bowler and has played for the Raiders, Cowboys, and Browns. He was originally drafted by the Raiders in 2015 and then traded to the Browns in 2018 for a 3rd-round pick. After 3 seasons in Dallas, the Cowboys then also traded him to the Browns for a 5th-round pick along with 2 6th-round pick swaps. The Alabama product this season has caught 24 passes for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. However, he has 11 drops, which leads the league. But now that he is in Buffalo, who is a contender, maybe he can reduce his drops and once again become a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. In his career, Cooper is a 5-time Pro Bowler and has amassed over 9,000 yards receiving. The Browns are not a good team, and Deshaun Watson has turned into one of the league's worst quarterbacks. The Browns' season is pretty much over and are already looking towards next season. The Bills, on the other hand, are contenders and need a number 1 receiver for Josh Allen after losing Stephon Diggs in the offseason. The Bills' receiver room is not great as they currently have Khalil Shakir, who leads the team in receiving with 249 yards on 20 receptions. They also have rookie Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, and Matt Collins. Even though they have 2 good tight ends in Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, they needed a true number 1 receiver, which is why they dealt for Cooper. Before the season, the Browns made a very interesting move as they converted most of Cooper's $20 million base salary into a signing bonus, which made him very attractive as a trade candidate. Now that Cooper is in Buffalo, the Bills only owe Cooper $800,000, which is the remainder of his deal. Last season, Cooper recorded 1,250 receiving yards, which was a career high. But this season, Cooper has struggled, but again, he had Joe Flacco throwing the majority of his passes last season, while this year, it was Deshaun Watson, who has been playing very pitiful, to say the least. According to ESPN, the Bills receiver ranks 25th in targets, receptions, and receiving yards, and receiving first downs. Not great. With the trade, the Bills released the veteran receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling to make room for Cooper. In his 11-year career, Cooper has 691 receptions for 9,736 yards and 62 touchdowns. He was drafted by the Raiders in 2015 with the 4th pick and has made 5 Pro Bowls. Let me know in the comments what you think of the trades and who won/lost. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, and like the vid for more amazing content.